Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special Penguin Academy game analysis. This is the KBBL Grand Final for what season, kind? Season 5. And it is JDWhitee with vampires versus AKindSir. Oh, wait, no. JDWhitee with rats versus AKindSir with vampires. Sorry. Miss Two was playing what? Weirdly, JDWhitee's name's on the left and the rats are on the left. So I should obviously know that. The teams are going to be a bit weird. There was, it's kind said, there's some kind of point buy system. So looking at the vampires, they look considerably better than you would expect from a standard like NAF point of view. It looks like 5 vampires, 2 bench instead of 1, 4 rerolls. Although it looks like one of those is the leader reroll because he's on the pitch, so that should count already. So we have a thrower with on the ball, which is this part of the point buy system as to why? Yeah, okay, there's a low tier skills in our attack, so that's why it has on the ball instead of dodge. We have a dodge thrower. We have Jesus. We have a dodge sprint runner and a dodge catch runner. Okay. And then somehow we have a block sure hands. Sorry, sure hands. A block strip ball blitzer instead of a frenzy blitzer. I don't like strip ball. Like it's a thing from tabletop vamps because Talk always uses strip ball, so people were copying him because he plays 1,000 vampires. But he's not the best vampire player, so I don't know why people were copying him. I much prefer Frenzy. I prefer Frenzy before any of those skills. I would even have Frenzy before Block. And then we got a bunch of thralls that don't have any skills. So no kick anyway. And let's have a look at the rats. The rats have a Juggernaut break tackle roger. I'm going to ignore that. A guard blitzer and what looks like a no skill blitzer. Okay. We've also got leader on the thrower, even though this looks like we have 3 rostered rerolls. Then we have 2 heads and sprint for the 1 turning gutter runner. Sidestep is better. We have strip ball naked gutter, which probably should have been the stack. If you're allowed the stack, should somewhere that should be wrestle strip. Wrestle gutter and a naked gutter. Your skills somehow look worse than his skills. Have you got less skills than him? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8. You got 1 less skill. And one of them is wasted on shitty break tackle on the Roger. Which definitely shouldn't be there. Okay, so that's the teams looked at. Let's nose at the setups while I'm eating a chicken skewer. Not your fault, Bucky, but it's just funny that we already had that conversation earlier about less and fewer. I mean, anything else would be better than the break tackle on the Roger. It's shit. So let's talk about the setups. I don't like the vampire setup. It's too closed in. You've got the offset LOS, which I like, but then regular chevrons behind it and jammed in as well. Like a weird rule of 3. You could just expand that more. Give more width to your setup to allow you to come around the side better. Because if you get a blitz, you can't hypno. But in response, the rats seem to have forgotten how to count across the entire pitch. Why are these two 1 in instead of 1 over? And, even though I've now seen this, because you're jammed into the middle, it's not as aggressive as if you were spread out. So you're not getting the bonus out of being on the aggressive line for the negative point of what's happening here, which is he gets to quick snap onto you. You're making the reward less for the risk. Okay, so we've quick snapped. We've caught the ball. So that's not too bad, but we've quick snapped onto a strength 4 vampire, which isn't the best. A dodge one at that too. Feels like this guy should have been the assist for this block, because otherwise you're putting a gutter runner as the assist for the block and leaving the gutter runner exposed because they can turn off his dodge and blitz him, rather than quick snapping onto a strength 4 in the hopes of getting a full pow. But I don't mind the quick snap on the outside onto the thralls. Killing the thralls is great. This middle one is a mistake. Okay, so we've taken the block. That's totally fine. It's a 1 in 12-9-6. Now we move the ball. I want to see that be the very next thing we do. Beautiful. We've fucked off out of range. We're taking a block with block. That's also fine. I'm a little confused. I assume, like, we've got 4 rerolls, so I'm assuming we're re-rolling a dub skulls. And we've chained the vampire that we that we quick snapped on and replaced it with a thrall. So that's worked out. It's pretty funny, not gonna lie. But we've run the gutter away. So what's this guy doing? If we've run the gutter, oh, he's going in. We've moved him over as the assist. Okay. There's quite the gaping hole in the middle of this. Oh no, we've taken a block with the Roger, have we? Was that a blitz? Okay. Okay. I still don't know what's happening here. Have we just not blitzed? Okay, well, we forgot the blitz. So we could have blitzed with the Roger so that he wasn't taking a block without block. That would have been nice. And we could have repositioned the Roger. We haven't blitzed at all. We've exposed 2 gutters, and then we've left a gigantic hole, a gaping hole, as Jim likes to say, just down the middle of the pitch. So if, like, the vampires are not going to have to roll any dice to come and threaten the ball. And once they're even in, like, range of the ball, you have to care and move the ball into a cage, etc., because vampires. So it would be nice to make them roll dice to walk past the defensive line. Because of the hole, Quincy, I mean, I guess they kind of do because of him. They can just move thralls through. But at least they have to roll this guy, who's probably just going to end up blitzing him anyway, right? Because why not? I would have preferred moving this thrall around the back. I'm going to go back. I would have preferred moving this thrall around the back to tag him, because you want to be on this side, because you want to attack the ball. It's like you want to like force him to move the ball. So putting the thrall around the other side and splitting these three off from his team, to me, is the goal. So this thrall should have come around the back, because when he blitzes, it leaves the gaping hole, and then this thrall who's there can come through better. And then obviously we're going to hypno him, block him, and move other players through, and like have your players here, forcing him to do something with the ball. That's what I would have liked to have seen. Just costs him movement and leaves him on the wrong side of the players. Similarly, he could have blitzed from the back, right? Didn't have to blitz from the front. Could have blitzed from the back and jammed him between these two players. And he could have been behind. Same thing. And same thing there. He could have come around the back and hypno. For some reason, we're keeping in front of the rats, but the goal for vampires is to get to the ball. So why are we staying further away? We get the removal. And then after we take blockless blocks, we move a random thrall to a square. Okay, well, we immediately roll this 1 in 36. I'm not 1,000,000% certain what the point of it is. I guess he's going to blitz with the Roger on this thrall. So it's going to chain him out. I hope you get the POW. I guess if you don't need the POW, right? He'll just follow through and chain him off, and then he can block this thrall. I'm assuming that's the plan there. It's not a bad plan. Still have the problem of basically a plan for the drive. Okay, why have we... Oh, okay, we're not blitzing with the Roger. So the Roger is just, I guess, standing there. We're instead blitzing with the Blitzer. We do get the chain. Blitzer should go back. No, okay. I don't know why the Blitzers come over here. I would have put, like, you would assume that someone would tag this thrall. And we've killed our own rat. Okay. Not great, but the vampires put no pressure on, so there was no reason to move any of the rats at the back. So that's fine. Not a massive fan of the dodge and no reroll. There's no way we're protecting the thrower from being punched because he's on the pitch. I don't actually know why he's on the pitch. When we've got 3 rostered rerolls, he should be off the pitch, and in which case you'd have a clan rat here to be able to go up, so you wouldn't have needed to do this dodge, but there's no point. If you've got enough rostered rerolls, the whole point of having the thrower with leader is to keep him alive, so at the end of the game, you've got a reroll for the 1 turn. If you have him on the pitch for the entirety of your offensive drive, where all he is a leader reroll, he's far more likely to be killed. I could see it if you only had 2 rostered rerolls and you wanted the 3 for the drive. That's okay. Also, just in general, for tactics purposes, I also wouldn't have hated seeing you turn it into a shootout. If you'd have just, like, banged a score in and forced the vampires to do the same thing, they have to roll every time they activate a vampire. That's either attrition or rerolls going. Oh, I didn't count. I've done the thing again. I talk about this in many of my cats. I literally just assume the best of people. No, I just didn't count. I didn't count at all. I just assumed that JD counted. I've done it in a number of the Super League casts. Someone sacked the ball, and I'm like, oh, I didn't count that. I just assumed he was correct. So yeah, not the best there. Let's be honest. Obviously, he should have been one square further back, but we'll let it go. Oh, excuse me. Just gonna have a drink. Okay, so now we have a problem, right? Even if he couldn't reach the ball, we'd still have a problem. The vampires are in the backfield. He could have hypnoed him, based the ball. You know, it still would have been a problem. So we have to do one of two things. Envision where the ball is going to go, or work out a breakaway plan. Seeing as the two fastest vampires are down here, the breakaway plan seems the most likely to be useful. We've got two heads, so dodging through the tackle zone gets you to there for a handoff to this gutter. There is a lovely gate dodge here. This vampire can only reach there and can't reach the sideline. So you can probably hide in this square. I don't think anyone can reach that square. Yeah, you can hide in this square. You can't hide anywhere else. You could only hide anywhere else if you engineer a block on him, which is doable. You've got a gutter here to come round, and you can like one dice him out of the way. But you've also somehow got to get rid of him. You don't really want to do a 3+ handoff. So, and if you block him and you don't get the POW, you don't have the gate dodge anymore. So there are decisions to be made here. You don't want to do 3+, right? You only want to do 2+. You're going to have to do 2+. You can't avoid rolling dice this turn. So I think my play would be I'd move this gutter runner to be an assist here, and then I blitz him with the wrestler. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go there. Then this would 2 heads through and hand off. And then I would potato. He only reaches there. And then I probably... What do I do? Do I do a 2+ here? I don't really want to push him any closer to the gutter. I don't want to leave any like chain pushes on or anything either. So I'd probably work out what the least likelihood of a chain push is. Dodge. Maybe him do the... You could block there. Do the dodge. take the 2 dice block on him, and then this gutter is free. That's probably what I'm looking for, and then scoring next turn, because you're not going to be able to do anything about scoring next turn. That's probably my play. Like, there's no way to put this ball safe. You have to engineer a breakaway. You should know that straight away. There is zero chance anywhere in this half of the pitch the ball is going to be safe. Too many players are going to need to roll 3 pluses to even attempt to make the ball safe, to even think about that as a plan. Sometimes you're really, really glad that you spent a long time explaining what you would do. This is not one of those times. I guess I should have added what I wouldn't do is roll a blockless 1 in 9 with a loner. Didn't feel like I needed to add that, but that is my bad. Okay. Okay, burns all the bad dice up here. So, can anyone tell me what Kind did wrong? Other than apparently not watching JD's last turn. So maybe if you get to win the game because your opponent showed up in full Three Stooges mode and did a blockless block, you don't follow that up by responding to it with a blockless block. An almost irrelevant blockless block, too. So we do it. That was the blitz, yeah. We do Hypno. We get the POW. And we get the score. Despite the irrelevant blockless block. So because that happened so quickly, you could still turn this into a shootout. It's not the best now, because obviously you're starting from a negative. And the timing of the turns is bad. Like, if you now do a 2-turn and they do a 2-turn, you are struggling. Both teams just seem to set up in the exact... They just pressed, let's do that again, I guess. Nope, okay. Just the vampires did. Which is worse, by the way, because you've just turned him over. So the likelihood is that seeing how that went wrong, you should expect your opponent to be like, okay, I'm just going to bang it in this time. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing against vampires. So, the vampires should have changed their setup. They should absolutely have widened their setup, forced some dice to be rolled, etc. And also stepped back off the aggressive line. They should have stepped back off the aggressive line because they don't need that aggression now, having already done the turnover. This was a one-turn attempt. I've just worked out what this weird setup was. It was a one-turn attempt. It wasn't a good one-turn attempt, but it was a one-turn attempt. Yeah. Why was that not a 3-dice block if we were going for a one-turn? You've got an entire team of rats. Also, if we were going for a one-turn, why are we doing it into the middle of the vampires? Why aren't we doing it the other way and pushing the rat outside of all of the vampires? Like, the push there is into the middle of vampires. Why aren't we using this direction and pushing him there? Not that we should be one-turning anyway, but if we are going to one-turn, which is not, it's not the worst idea in the world, it's just there's no need for it. Why are we trying to one-turn through the middle? Okay, we actually clicked on the vampire this time to make sure we weren't able to be based. There's an improvement to have happened. Why? Okay, what's this rat doing right there? Why isn't this rat moving? Oh, it is moving. It's just moving to a very bad place. Okay. Okay, we've bloodlusted. We've hypnoed and we've bitten. Because it doesn't do anything, Festung. It's pointless, isn't it? It's literally not doing anything. It's not covering anyone from coming round here, which I would have liked. I would have preferred to see him over here. There's no frenzy in play, so just covering the entire width of the pitch forces a bloodlust to even, like, bring players down towards the ball. Coming over this side to help push up next time would have been fine. Coming back to form a second screen with the gutters would have been fine. It just randomly walked up and just based some players. It doesn't accomplish anything. So we do hypno both gutters. We're blitzing one. That's fine. I don't think it was necessary. The ball's really deep. I probably would have preferred to see him hypno one of these and blitz the other one, and then just leave these as hypnoed because they can't be. I get it, but like you can fuck him this turn if you still have 3 vampires, right? So you can blitz one of these and hypno the other. If you get the power on one and all three gutters are hypnoed, what's the thrower doing with the ball? Nothing good. So I would just prefer more aggression. Like, if I'm the vampires here, I go for the kill straight away. I've already turned him over. He seems to be, like, playing under the influence of heavy drugs. So I want to, like, stick my foot on his neck as soon as possible. Which means the ball can't get to a gutter runner. We have 5 vampires and 4 gutters. Perfect. Okay, we are banging him out a little bit as well. That drops him to 10. So like this doesn't achieve what you want. Just hypnoing these two already achieved it. Either the thrower is going to have to throw to the end zone, or what? Like, what's the other plan? There's no plan B. Like, running these 2 gutters up wasn't a good plan. See you later, JD. Because of exactly that, right? You've done the right thing. You've hypnoed them. But now what? Like, the thrower can't do anything to them anyway. So he's either going to hand off to him, or he's going to come up. And because you've run all the vampires back, the thrower just comes up, and now he does have the opportunity. Once he's up in safe, he has the opportunity to run 7 squares forward and throw a pass to the end zone. So no amount of hypnoing will work then. You needed to stop that from being a plan. So someone needed to threaten the ball. The other 3 vampires. And as luck would have it, for seemingly no reason, JD has given the ball to a gutter runner anyway. Which I hope isn't to throw a pass to the end zone. Removes a runner, which is very handy. Doesn't die. Equally handy. I mean, we've made a YouTube cage, which is nothing against vampires. So this is a bad plan, isn't it? Like, despite the things that the vampires there did wrong, this is just a bad plan. There's no getting around this. We can hypno with this vampire because the runners on this side can reach the other side, and then just blitz the ball. What we can't do, however, is blitz the ball. Well, I guess we could. With a couple of rushes, we could blitz the ball with the stripper. Might have to, really. It's probably not worth trying to get a full power with this thrower. But this is the problem, isn't it? We blitz this guy, which was just being scared of the stripper, which he shouldn't be. And now we've left the blitzer out of position. This guy's out of position. So now we're running 1 in 36s that we shouldn't have to do. And oh, that was correct. That was actually correct. He can't blitz with the stripper if he was standing in that square. What a shame. Did the right thing and then moved him. So now we hypno the back and blitz in here and hope that it bounces was somewhere he could reach to throw a pass. Burn a reroll on the hypno, which is fine. I don't know what this was. So, like, the problem with doing this one is, if you'd bloodlusted, you'd have bitten him. And someone needs to base these. He's the guy you throw the pass to. Like, if you get the right dice here, he's the guy who has the ball and is down here. This hypno is just the most irrelevant bollocks that risks this thrall, which you need. Like, you actively need that thrall. So this was a mistake. It's absolutely irrelevant. Get the POWs. Oh, what a shame. We've caught the ball on the blitzer, which is not what we wanted. However, actually, because of this mistake, catching it on him isn't that bad, because he had no one to throw a pass to. Okay, starting to rack up some removals for the vampires now. And this is the strip. Hoping for a good bounce. Gets a bad bounce because he is also magnet handsed it. But good stun. Okay, that's worked out pretty well for the rats. Doesn't get the POW. Doesn't get the POW. Unfortunate. I mean, unlikely to have ended up with that ball going somewhere that you can pick up and throw to her and leave, but that was hopefully the dream, right? I do like that. Rolled the bloodlust, so didn't stand up. I like that a lot. For people playing vampires, they forget that that is an option. You don't have to do whatever you were doing with the vampire. It does reset your action if you fail a bloodlust, so you could just lie on the floor, forcing him to foul. If he'd stood up, he couldn't get anywhere safe. He wouldn't have had dodge to protect him, so he could have been rogued or whatever. So I do like that he remembered that you don't have to do that. Whenever I cast vampire games or play vampire games, it just makes me sad that vampires are basically dead in third season. Keeping our reroll for the one turn. The one turn's still doable thanks to sprint. Not as good as if it had frenzy. The hypno changes, Quincy. I mean, the elite skill tax does hurt them in progression as well. So the combination of the two means that they're basically dead in both formats, resurrection and progression. And we're already seeing the effect of that. Their win rate is atrocious in NAF right now. It's like 40, low 40s or something. It's like goblin numbers. Like it will be exaggerated because of the hypno changes, good competitive players will have moved away from them, like removing their good win rate from the pool, thus exaggerating the drop off. Yeah, I haven't played any, so I'm not, I'm not fully versed on how it's going to play out. So the vampires do have a one turn, yeah? They do have a reroll for it. But without the frenzy, you can't do the vampire one turn. Although you can't anyway right now because the sprint runner stayed out. You can still do the one turn with a regular movement 8. But without the frenzy, and if you have two runners, the vampire one turn is the one where you push both runners forward, and then the one that's behind the other runs forward and hypnos the back line, so the other one doesn't have to do any dodges. Like, but you can't do that without frenzy, really. Or you can, but it's much harder. Yes, we've already messed this up. I don't really know what's happening here. I mean, to be fair, you haven't got enough players to do a proper one turn without the whole method anyway, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess you could have done. So, yeah, you're going to blitz into him and push him back. So it is just the whole method. But for some reason, you filled the hole to do the thing. Yeah, he gets the 3 dice. You're right. But I think if you'd have put him there, then if you got lucky with the throw, you could have filled the square and then got the push straight away on the first push. The issue is if he's not going there, he should be there. If he's not going to be here hoping for the fill and the push straight away, then he's in the wrong square. He should be one left. For those of you at home, because what's going to happen is he's going to come around the top and blitz down and go there, and then the vampire's going to fill that square for this 3. And then when this one takes the block, it's going to chain the runner through the blitzer, pushing the blitzer left. But if this is a POW, because he's standing there, there's no one to push him back into the runner. It's called redundancy. So you need redundancy for the one turn. So if this is a POW, you can eat it because this guy will be able to block this blitzer once you fill the top 2 squares and push your runner forward anyway. It'll be easier to imagine once we go through a couple of blocks. So we get the push, and then we come and stand in this square. And and there we go. So we had to re-roll a 1 in 9. We don't get a push. We block forward, but now you'll see where the push is. And there we go. And now you see where the problem is. See, if this guy was standing here, he wasn't needed for that chain push. He's not filling any squares. If this guy was standing in the redundancy square, which I'm going to start calling it, then 2 of the runners run round the top and stand here, and he takes a block that way and chains it forward. And because they're standing there and the runner is there, this guy then takes the block forward and chains her into scoring range. So it's this 1 turn is still doable. You've even got a spare thrall left over to run back, so that if the vampire at the back bloodlusts, he can still make the pass. So this was all still doable, except this guy's not standing in the redundancy square. And now he can't do a 1 turn. Okay, I'm going to press pause because PC has just shown up. PC, what do you think of this idea? I am going to find out where all of these tournaments and stuff make their pitches. You know, their plastic roll-out pitches that you get at all of the different tournaments. And I'm going to make one with all of the things from Penguin Academy on the pitch. So Chunt's column is going to be written down Chunt's column. There's going to be a little picture of a rat in the idiot square. And a little picture of Coach Hopper in the stall square. And then there's going to be little ticks where you should set up for an anti-blitz defense. Or maybe like A+ for the chevrons on the line, and then little A's for the chevrons back. Anything else I can think of to write on the pitch? Like, in your touchdown zone facing you, I'm just going to write safe moves first. Across the squares of the touchdown zone. What do we think? What do we think of this idea? Because I think it's fucking amazing. I'm going to do it. I counted it out, by the way. There's literally enough squares to write SAFEMOVESFIRST exclamation mark. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, so I'll have it facing both ways. So safe moves first in both end zones. And then on the right-hand side... Oh, hang on, I got to delete the video. On the right-hand side... we'll say, like, Chunt's column. And then upside down on the other way, we'll say, like, Chunt's column. Well, no, because you don't. They have to be reversible, right? You don't want a pitch that only faces you. That's just mean to the other person. Loads of upside down writing and stuff. But yeah, this is going to be a thing. I have decided that there is going to be a Penguin Academy learning pitch with all of those things on it. I don't know, like you just have a pitch, right? You don't have like dugouts and stuff on the pitch. You do? Okay, maybe I can put other stuff on the side then. Maybe I can put a little box on the side of both sides with like some pithy words of wisdom. Yeah, fuck that noise. People already know those. I don't mean they memorized them. I mean they're elsewhere, right? You have the thing from the box set and stuff with all of that shit on. This is specifically for Blood Bowl learning. Anyway, back to this game. So there is an interesting choice here of what to do if you're the vampires, right? This is regularly a choice that vampire players have to make. Stop making noises. It's regularly a choice that vampires have to make. Quite often they will find that they have turned over their opponent once in the first half and still been scored on, or they did make their one turn if they had frenzy and knew what redundancy was. So they end up starting the second half 1-1. But vampires don't like stalling out a drive. It's not like they can't do it. I talked about it a lot in my other video where I won the Steel Gauntlet with vampires, and I stalled out a drive quite often during that run. You don't have to do a 2-turn and then go on defense because vampires love defense. While that is true, it's not like a truism. It doesn't mean that that's something you have to do. You know what else is true? Bash teams love offense. So, saying something like, I really like being on defense doesn't really help when the other person is also happy with that. So, you have a choice to make. In this case, against Rats, because they're not a Bash team, I probably would do a 2-turn. In fact, I almost certainly would do a 2-turn. I have no Mighty Blow. I have no Dirty Player Thrall. I can't really do any damage myself other than hoping to roll like 8s. So I think a 2, and also, as mentioned, it seems like JD showed up directly from his car accident and didn't really know what he was doing. So I probably would go on defense because it's more likely that you can take advantage of a mistake that way. If you're on offense, you need your opponent to make a mistake on one specific turn at one specific time, which is your scoring or breakthrough turn. If you're on defense, you can take advantage of any mistake in any turn. You might ask why I'm not going to shit on him for not, especially against rats, for not setting up against a blitz. It's because I wouldn't either. Whenever I'm trying to do a two-turn with vampires, I also ignore the blitz completely. Or two-turn with anything, really. If you're trying to do a short drive like this, if you're trying to do a two-turn, you maximize your chances of actually doing the two-turn. It does like give you only minimal defense against a blitz, which sucks. But you can't do both. You can't set up to defend a blitz and then have a maximized two-turn. You could, if you wanted to, set up against a blitz and then try and do a three-turn or a four-turn. But that then lowers your chances of turning him over, or he can then bang a quick score in against you in 2 or 3, and then there's only 1 or 2 turns left yourself. So, I don't mind this. It's not necessary. Like I said, you can do an actual anti-blitz defense, especially as the Rats, let's talk about the Rat setup. The Rats have done an offset rule of 5, which honestly couldn't be a worse setup against what you expect the vampires to do. You kind of expect the vampires to do a two-turn. Even though I just said that's not necessary, that doesn't mean that that's not what people are going to do. So you should expect vampires to two-turn, in which case, what the hell is this? Okay, we get a timeout. Okay, we've just walked up and stood on the... don't know why we've moved him. So, obviously you don't want to move the vampire first, because you definitely don't want to use any rerolls. And if he rolls a bloodlust, he's no longer going to be forward. If you had a thrall up there, then essentially what you're doing, if you bite him, is replacing a thrall with a strength 4 dodge piece. So that also works out just fine, like if you have to. So that's just immediately incorrect. The first action should have just been this block. It's the safest thing you have to do. Oh, why? No. That's a blitz? Why is that a blitz? Why are we adding a dodgeless dodge? Okay, so that shouldn't be the blitz. That should just be a block. And we should have just eaten the bloodlust and bit this thrall back diagonally. And that's 2 rerolls used to just send 2 vampires up there on their own. The ball is still on the floor. No one has sure hands. It's very weakly protected. So we have to reroll a pickup. That could send us down to 1 reroll, and then we're trying to turn over rats with just no reroll vampires. It seems like an absolutely terrible idea. We've already pissed away 2 rerolls on nothing. This is Resurrection. Why the fuck are we throwing a pass? No, I know the answer. Can we move? Like, can we move the guys that don't have to bloodlust up the pitch so we can bite one of them if these go wrong? Where's that vampire going if it bloodlusts? Who's that vampire biting if it bloodlusts? That one? That seems bad. Okay, so that was very poorly done. Was punished with 2 reroll loss, which is good. Wasn't punished with a game losing bloodlust into having to bite a vampire that was the only thing protecting the ball. Sorry, a thrall that was the only thing protecting a ball. If this guy hadn't, because this guy went there instead of there, one to the left, if this guy had failed a dodge, the stripper could have just come through here and stripped the ball. It was all very, very bad. I also don't really like that somehow the players you want to be punched the least are the screens. Like, ideally, the point of a 2-turn is the thralls stand between you and the opposition, and the vampires are the other side of the thralls, ready to hypno their way through whatever defense comes and stands in front. You don't have the vampires be the screen. Oh, that vampire's getting fouled. And the thrall that was just... I mean, honestly, I get the scared of having the rat ogre blitz, but you're vampires. The rat ogres can't blitz the ball, so if the rat ogre blitzes in to try and get the POW, or to try and just base the ball, you can just hypno it. You have multiple vampires to have a go at hypno in it. There was no reason to feed it a thrall. And that's currently not good enough, is it? I mean, it's beyond not good enough. It's currently nothing. This is not a defense at all. We've abandoned the defense to maximize the foul, but for some reason we have a blitzer over here, a clan right there. This one should have gone behind the wrestler, and then this one should have gone there. Like, so at least you have to re-roll multiple hypnos and blocks, etc. Because at the moment this is just a block. That's literally it. And now they can score. So that was nothing. But the thrall, there is a second dead thrall, and the runner who was used as a screen for no reason didn't come back. So there is a punish for that as well. So there was a punish for all of the bad play there, which is kind of interesting. I'm also kind of interested in what the rats are doing here. It seems like the rats have set up to do the 1-turn that they should have done before if they wanted to do the 1-turn. Now they're going to push from the outside. Is there a 6 rolled on the dice? Yes, it was. Because he can, so he can't get, like, hypnoed through a 2-turn and strip balled and whatever. It's okay. Against vampires, if you can do an easy 1-turn, it's not the worst. It's fine. This isn't fine, though. Yeah, that's the problem. So that didn't need to be there. Oh, wait, did it need to be there? Oh, it might have needed to be there. This is the block. Don't do it with this one. So, not necessary to re-roll there because you might not need to re-roll any of the rushes or whatever, so... And re-rolling is the same 1 in 36 failure state anyway. And now the vampires have to do the same thing again, but they lost 2 re-rolls to straight up idiocy. At least they get their runner back. Thank you, PC. Appreciated. Okay, so we're doing this slightly different this time. Because the setup of the rats is different, so that's totally appreciated. The rats get a reroll back, so they're now up to 5. They do have 2 assistant coaches, to be fair, so it was unlikely they were losing that. What? What's happening here? Why are we hypnoing him? Like, because if you're hypnoing him, you're standing in the wrong square. You can only hypno him from this square. Whereas you can move 6 forward. Why aren't we just waiting and moving 6 forward? You wanted... But then he's in the middle of your 2-turn people. Don't have to re-roll the pickup, at least. A pass is actually relevant here, not stupid. No! Wait, what? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could bite the one that's already down. Why are we biting a standing thrall? Okay, so how is this being safe? I guess we have to hope that this one can get to, like, in front of it. And even then, this doesn't have block. And you've left it based. Like, obviously, this is the blitz, right? You blitz him to move him out of the way. We've Bloodlust. Okay. We've team re-rolled the Bloodlust. Oh, that's not even safe. What? Oh no. I mean, this is just not safe. Not only is it not safe, we're standing in Chunt's column. So this was an absolute clusterfuck. Not, to be fair, despite this being really bad, it's better than the 2-turn from like 2 turns ago. If we keep going this way, we will reach an acceptable 2-turn in a few years. Okay, I do appreciate how, if we're going to strip the ball, we're going to move our entire team first, so we have nobody to react to where the ball goes. Well, we definitely got the strip, and it's on the sideline. And it's in the crowd. And it's far enough away for the single gutter runner to go get it. However, he's moved the other half of his team, so it's not going to be in a cage or protected in any way, shape, or form, and he doesn't win the game. If we hadn't moved these, like, they're irrelevant, aren't they? Like, if this skulls out, what's the point of this thrower being there, or this rat ogre being there, or this gutter runner being there, or this guy being? What is the point of any of those players if this guy doesn't strip the ball and it goes in the crowd? If he strips the ball and it bounces around here, then you can react to it. If he strips the ball and it goes in the crowd, you want to react to it. If he skulls out, these are all absolutely irrelevant because you're just going to walk into the end zone. So there's 0 point in moving any of these players. Sometimes you have to recognize when to switch to preparing for success. And now he's got literally the perfect result, and he is not safe. And by the way, has stood in Chunt's column. Okay, before we do important stuff, let's try and waste our one reroll making irrelevant blockless blocks. Hey, look, Chunt's column was very, very relevant.
Vamprat games are awesome.
Oh, thank you, Bucky. No, because the rat ogre is currently confused. And I don't believe this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I don't really think you can get there any other way other than rolling a 1 in 9. So there's not even a leap option because you're leaping from a tackle zone. So it would be a 3+ jump anyway. So this is the right play. Just happened to 1 in 9. Then you'd be wrong, Nalo. If you jump the 2 heads rat, it would be a 3+ without a built-in reroll. It hasn't, no, because I rewound it and cyanide suck. Hey! 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 Woohoo! Okay. Let's just all before we laugh at this not screen, let's take a moment to appreciate that we learned from a minute ago that standing in Chunt's column is a terrible thing to do. Even though we didn't learn from a minute before that, where standing in Chunt's column was a minute was it's a terrible thing to do. But we've learned the second time that it's a terrible thing to do. And then we are so busy patting ourselves on the back that it took us 2 goes to learn not to stand in Chunt's column that we forgot what a screen looks like. And what we have instead done is more of a moral support rat. So we re-rolled our Bloodlust because we think that that runner has to... You can see that it's red, look. It has to hypno the screen out of the way. However, you might say, I'm an idiot, I didn't notice it. This has saved you. Because if you hadn't done that, he would have Bloodlust snaked. And he can't bite shit. Actually, no, he wouldn't. He'd have snaked the dodge. He has to dodge to get there. No, the dodge wasn't 3-3-2. He just dodged into the tackle zone and then down out of it. It was 3-2. So this has somehow saved him. And then I don't know what happened right there between doing this and then just blitzing. Well, did we think that was going to be a dodge? Or did we work it out afterwards? Like in between? Would we path that in and then go, oh, wait, that's not a dodge? We have very luckily broken armor on the strip ball gutter. I say very luckily but then he didn't make this. If he was going to hand off to him, having the stripper was necessary there. But we failed to pick up, and it doesn't go in the crowd, which is very bad with 4 reroll rats hanging around. So what do we do here if we're the rats? Let's have a look. I think I would be more than tempted to simply blitz the thrall onto the ball. And then we've got this gutter runner to react and score. Like, I don't think you can do anything particularly better than that. If the ball bobbles into the crowd, you've got this gutter runner who can reach this entire area. So if it goes straight across, he can go get it. Or if it only goes straight across a short area, that's great. If it goes down this way, that's great. If it goes up this way, you could possibly pick up with this gutter runner and give it to this guy. Like, there's a lot of options here. So I think we blitz the thrall and hope that he just doesn't land on this blitzer and he catches it. That's basically it, right? No, the problem is if you try to form a thing, it's either a 1 dice blitzing down here, or he has to dodge, or this gutter runner has to 3-2 out. You wanna put as few failure states in as possible for this. And then you're already using this. If you get pushes, it sucks. You haven't got a scoring threat because it just doesn't work. You just blitz the thrall onto the ball and hope it doesn't do the 1 in 8. Well, 1 in, what is it? 1 in 24 to land on him and have him catch it. Like, 23 times that doesn't happen out of 24. Okay, I very, 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 very much don't like randomly moving this gutter into the middle of the pitch. Or this one. Stop moving people when you're about to do something! Okay, the pushes is annoying because it gives you worse options. But it does go in the crowd. And it does go exactly where that gutter runner could have gone. Or, in fact, and this clan rat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Literally both of them could be standing on the ball right now. So if this guy won in nines, there's 2 players on the ball. If this guy currently won in nines, there's 0 players on the ball. And before we do this 1 in 9, why the fuck is this guy still confused? Why is he still confused? Unconfuse him. That guy doesn't have dodge. But he didn't fail anything. So there we go. Good job. The setup's fine. There's not a lot you can do, right? The setup is fine. What I don't like is that this all seems to be set up to try and blitz the stripper again. You can neutralize the stripper by just doing a normal 2-turn and having the ball in a cage. Oh, fuck off. And again, look how far back he is. He's not even going to be defending the ball. Why isn't he there to be the 3 dice assist? What? What's happening? What? Why did the catch vampire just leave? Did we forget the point of a 2-turn? Which is, you know, to move the ball to the other end of the pitch. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, at least, like, I was taking the piss with some of the other ones. I don't even understand what the fuck is happening right now. Who's getting the ball? Oh no, tell me that's not who's getting the ball. We're not handing off to a non-catch piece on the side. Well, not even handing off because for some reason this vampire still has the ball. So we're going to have to throw a pass. To a non-catch piece with no rerolls on the sideline. who, by the way, can still be strip balled. Okay, well, that was awful. What is this happening? What's going on here? The one thing we didn't manage to do, by the way, was get a thrall in range. That entire setup, no thrall is in range of where they need to be. Which is actually impressive. One of the two players that you put here when you're doing a 2-turn has to be a thrall. Unless you can manage to put him here and run him directly diagonally. Someone has to be directly 6 squares up. Otherwise, you can't bite them. None of the setups had that. So yes, let's go to the rat like things. There is the possibility of blitzing with the Roger and chaining the blitzer onto the ball and then running a gut around and just surfing the ball. We're not going to notice that, apparently. The other option is the stripper can reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 10. The stripper can just reach. Because this 2-turn was atrocious. I mean, do you know you can actually tell how bad a 2-turn is? If JD had passed out from his recent car accident and had his head hit the end turn button, you'd still only have a 70% chance of equalizing. That's how bad your 2-turn was. Because there's no thrall to bite, and you're 1 square away. So you have to roll a 2+2+, even if all of the rats somehow got raptured. Do I mind that? No, not really. I don't mind that at all. That's just a 2+. To get guard. It's a 3 to get guard on the ball, but it's just a 2+ as far as failure state is concerned. And it means that you can 1 dice the ball. We seem to be 1 dice in the ball with just the gutter runner, though. Not the stripper. Which, again, I don't mind. It's not bad. I don't know which I would have done. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't know which I would have done. The 1 in 9 dodge could fail. The strip ball could just bounce inwards, right? And it doesn't do anything at that point. I mean, I don't think a push is enough, frankly. Oh, I mean, if we thought a push was pretty close to enough, any particular reason we're deciding to try and roll a skull? Mm-hmm. We failed the hypno. And then we won in 9 the block. I mean, that was pretty unlucky. But they were more dice to roll there. Like, this had to do a 1 in 9 and hypno here. And then we had to do 2 rushes and a bloodlust. Like, this score was down in the low percentage. Just the 2 rushes and a bloodlust is like 50%. Never mind all of these dice. Oh, there was a blitz, was there? I thought we had blitzed already, whichever one it was. Wait, you were going to blitz the gutter out of the way? With who? On the ground with the guy who was just removed. Oh, you're talking about what you planned from the start, if you'd hypno had worked and stuff. Yes, yeah, it's fine. It's just like I said, loads of other dice needed to be rolled, and we're already at 50% starting. So it's not great. Like, it's more likely to fail than to succeed, so you can't really complain. And frankly, neither of you can complain about anything in this match. So here's the thing, right? As much as I took the piss out of you both because I know you both, um, I've seen you both play better. I've seen you both play like this. It's not pretend that this is like a once in a million game for either of you. This is what mid-level finals look like. For anyone watching on YouTube, like I said, I'm taking the piss out of these guys, but everyone they beat to get you, probably worse. I don't know if Reina was in here. Reina's probably not worse, but this is what Blood Bowl looks like. This is not like World Championship final Blood Bowl, but it's also not average tabletop Blood Bowl. Like, both of these players, even playing this badly, would probably beat the average tabletop of 5-0. Like, I don't judge everything with the same, like, measuring stick. But hopefully, useful for people. Yeah, and you could also say, like, people who are at the level that you two guys are at, more likely to be affected by nerves when you get to any kind of final with any kind of, like, prize. I mean, no, prize in the metaphysical sense. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not banging out finals or breaking records or, being at the top of ladders or whatever all day, every day, when you do end up in something, you're far more likely to be affected by the nerves for that. And that's okay. That happens to anyone. But hopefully this was useful for people. And maybe there was some stuff in there that you didn't know that you'd done. Yeah, the two turns was rough. Like the main thing to learn about the two turn was forget the fucking gutters. Your thralls were in the wrong squares. There's no point in doing a vampire two turn if you haven't got a thrall 6 squares away from the chunt's row so you can bite him. If you're having to do extra rushes with them as well, what the fuck was the point? The thrall that's standing here runs directly up as far as possible. The other thralls are the ones that the guy blitzing bites or assists or whatever. But you need one thrall always who pushes forward, and you try to protect him so that you have him to move up to bite. Especially when you've got no rerolls. In fact, dramatically when you have no rerolls. That is something you very much need to care about. But you should be doing it from the start anyway. If you're doing a 2-turn on turn 1 and 2, obviously, you'd rather bite your spare thrall than burn a reroll. You want all of your rerolls to turn them over if you're doing a quick score. Whereas you've already got at least a spare thrall. In this case, you had 2. So you should always be biting a thrall to score before you reroll. The only reason you reroll is if you're running low on thralls and you still have rerolls. If it's somewhere in between, you're running low on thralls and running low on rerolls, you know, it's Sophie's choice. Pick whichever one you think is more important to you. While JD was hiding in the toilet hugging his knees, the thing that he should have learned is if you're going to do something like try and sack the ball, don't move all of your fucking team beforehand. Unless they are covering something, like unless they're the backup, they're the redundancy, like they're screening or something, so it still makes it more difficult for them to score if you fail to sack, then moving them is usually completely and utterly irrelevant. You don't move 8 of your players to give the guy who's sacking the ball moral support and then cheer him when he sacks the ball and then all sort of shrug when the ball's on the ground because you can't move anymore. Good job, Bill. No, I can't pick a ball up. Sorry, I already was over there. I just came here to look at you. Could have won that game without waiting for Kind to have some kind of embolism. Anyway, if something like this comes up again, I'll do it again. This was a bit of a special occasion because I happen to know the 2 people who were playing. And I also know that they will take me taking the piss out of them in the manner that it's meant. And both of them are constantly looking to improve at Blood Bowl. So the actual advice in between the mockery might be useful. And we will see you in more normally, regularly scheduled programming.